black man, you're bold. A black boy's soul, you're the perfect mold. Ash is the dust particles, our melanin brought and sold. But I love you like I love God. Brother, you're my black gold. Shine, baby. Shine.
Shit, the madness, the hard times, the hood life, the bad ways, the evil thoughts I had toward a good life. Looks like a nightfall.
Team stop, police stop, bang bang stop, black boy down. Miseducated, incarcerated, emasculated, two black boys down. Tryna get over the struggle, tryna smile, frown, tryna rock Peter just to play ball, tryna swim like the sea.
Peace, family. So I'm trying something a little new this time around. I got this restream thing, so I'm just playing around with it. But for the most part, my name is Keisha. I'm the owner of A Way of Life. I am a career and business coach using astrology. Today, I'm coming on here to talk about the new moon in Aquarius. I am excited about this. This is going to be the moment we've all been waiting for. Really excited to get started and talk about that. But before I jump into that, I just wanted to do a few announcements. Won't be too long. Talk about some of the lives that I've been doing, the pleasure that I've had of connecting with a lot of great souls and individuals. And I'm learning a lot. It's been a very heartwarming time and experience. So I have a few more of those coming up. The next one I'm having is on the 9th with Leah. I'll be doing astrology and mental health. I'm really excited about that. And then the next one I have is the 15th. I'm going to be doing live with Sophie for her wash day, talking about natural hair and the natural hair journey. Excited about that. And hopefully I have one more, which will be on the 20th, Saturday, with Lorraine. Around some questions to get some answers. I thought it would be really cool to have a candid conversation with men and women about this topic. I think a lot of the times we're having conversations as women by ourselves, and even with men, I'm sure they're having these same conversations with men, and it's like, let's come together and have this conversation. I'm sure that's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to try to do at least one or two. I know one for sure with Miss Janae every month, doing something around tarot and astrology. You already know we get it in. And I'm working on doing something with Miss Divine Love. She'll be doing the explaining what each tarot card is, and then I'm going to break it down astrologically, which I've been trying to do that with somebody for so long now. I'm looking forward to doing that. So that's about it for the announcements. Now I'm going to jump into this new moon energy. I can't even express how excited I am about this. This is my first time doing a recording, a video live. So I always usually do mine's pre-recorded. So bear with me. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mess up a whole bunch of times because I always do. But anyway, new moons are a time to set new intentions and manifest your goals and dreams, especially with this at this time, because it's in Aquarius and Aquarius rules hopes and wishes. Um, this is also very important because it marks, the foundation for the next 20 years. So this is really a big deal, even though like life is a big deal, but this is like the moment. This is what all this energy has built up to just burst and let out. So I'm really excited about that. Um, this is going to be a time to discover new beginnings, new explorations, and new adventures, especially with Jupiter in Aquarius for this entire year. You could change something in some kind of way where you're traveling, and it doesn't necessarily have to be travel. Sagittarius is the traveler, it rules long distance travel. But this could set the stage for maybe like a job where you have to travel, or now because everything is so connected because we're all online, it could be like you're not actually traveling, but maybe you're connecting with a lot of different foreigners or people with foreign concepts and things of that nature. Just an exciting journey overall, which is all Jupiter energy. What connects you to soul connections? That's all of what Aquarius rules. I've been talking about it. I feel like a broken record now, so I'm going to try to, not repeat myself. But that's just kind of what Aquarius rules: is groups of people, your soul tribe, connecting with people on a level of like mind, and really building the foundations of some new relationships around that. I also think this is going to be a time where we see a lot of new human and civil rights themes coming up. Um, this is where you seek truth. Aquarius rules the truth. Jupiter rules the truth. The fact that those two are together, obviously Aquarius is way happier in Jupiter than it was in poor Capricorn. Capricorn's probably getting a really bad name these days, but it has its upsides to it as well. Freedom, Jupiter and Aquarius also rule freedom. So them two together, because whatever Jupiter touches, it expands, and it brings happiness there too. So this is going to overall be not just an over the top fun, over the top experience, I should say, but it's also going to be fun. And then you have Aquarius, which is about awakening and futuristic themes. Aquarius rules the future. People will love with freedom. There'll be consistent change. So, you'll have to be mindful of that and try to be as flexible as possible, especially as we're kind of flipping back and forth to all these different things that we're trying to learn and understand and rebuild and rethink. There's going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of uncertainty and trying things on and going back and then maybe just figuring it out, just figuring it out. So we have a stellium of planets in the sign of Aquarius, and all a stellium means, so there are 6 planets. And so whenever there's 3 or more planets in one sign, it's called a stellium. So we have the Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter all in Aquarius, and they're all telling a story. They're all singing a song. They're providing themes. They're showing us where we're moving towards and what we need to work on. And then we have Mars and Taurus. All those planets square Mars and Taurus. They have something to offer us and move us forward somehow, some way. Aquarius rules knowing who you are as an individual. So at some level, that's kind of what Capricorn, the great parts about Capricorn, Capricorn, yes, it rules governmental structures and all these old structures that we've kind of become accustomed to, and really a part of putting us to sleep. And that Neptune, Pisces, age of Pisces, we kind of got rocked to sleep with the manipulation and the power and control dynamics through media and food, what we're eating, and all these other different kinds of things. But Capricorn also brought some reality checks to that stuff. Okay, this is what's happening, but how are you going to get out of it? Who do you want to be? What is your truest, deepest, darkest desires? How do you want to show up in the world? What goals do you have about that? And being realistic about it, and growing up and being mature and stepping up to the plate and taking control over your life, right? Because despite all of the things that have happened, you still always have a choice, right? And granted, they did a pretty damn good job of putting us to sleep. I ain't going to lie about that part, but still, Capricorn was, putting it to us like, okay, but you still have a choice. What are you going to do? What steps are you going to take? Are you willing to do the hard work that it takes to come out of this, to be a boss of your life, to take control of your life? And have those kind of skills and tools that it takes to do that work. Capricorn is about hard work. And once you fulfill that over time, the longevity of building that, whatever it is you may be building, is what Capricorn does is it gives you some kind of reward for the hard work that you've done. And you get to see the fruits of your labor and kind of revel in that. And I think a lot of people have seen that, even though January and February have been pretty tough. I'm not going to sugarcoat that in any kind of way. But even moving forward with all this Aquarius New Moon energy, I think we're going to see more of those accolades of the things that we have been working on, and just being able to appreciate that time. How are you going to show up in the world and feel good about it? Again, Jupiter wants you to be happy. And then we have the Sun conjunct Moon, which rules something new is coming. We're going to have a whole bunch of something new is coming. But what are you inspired to create? The Aquarius and Sun. Sun is ruled by Leo. Leo rules the fifth house. That's fun, play, romance, love, sex, creative projects, fame, children. What are you creating at this time? What are you inspired to create at this time? Is it for the collective? Is it giving back somehow, some way for the people to be able to grow as individuals? Yeah. The universe will be sending downloads of, it's a natural evolution, on how, or, really stepping into your mission, your purpose in this lifetime. And the mission is the highest expression of freedom and independence, to express yourself to its fullest potential. The last time we had this stellium was back in 1962, February to be exact, of 1962. This was the hippie movement. The love and sex revolution happened. The protest against war and equal rights. Again, that theme about freedom. Good music. Oh my gosh, I talked about this in one of my other videos, especially when that Pisces comes alive. I think that's 2022, 2023. Well, with that Pisces energy, with arts and music and fashion, mixed in with all that Aquarius energy, I think we're going to see like a lot of like flashy, different, futuristic, very eccentric kind of fashion, and just different ways and things, different looks, and music. I think we'll do the That's why I played that song that I played in the beginning of the live, like that revolutionary music, coming together, you know, and we've seen these themes before, this kind of music being played out before, where a bunch of artists come together and sing about, some one again, that one central like mind view. Groups of people getting together to do that. Um, and then they had the media attack the hippies, and just more proof that the media has really involved in a lot of the manipulation on how we think about certain things. Um, and they'll continue to do that. That's just what they do. But again, being aware of it this time around makes all the difference. Um, and then JFK was president at this time, and he started the Public Welfare Initiative. Now, what's really crazy about this is, prior to looking this up, when this time was, I really, honest to God, hadn't thought anything about it. But I had did the Mars and Venus videos last August or so, because of Mars and Venus were having some really serious upgrades last year, having some realism, some time to get real and grow up, right? And I talked, and in one of those videos, I talked about how I was watching this comedian. In fact, I'm pretty sure his name is Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken. And this was years ago. I heard him on a radio show where he broke down how he grew up in the 60s, before, in the 50s and 60s. He said, before things got, out of control. He's like, I didn't grow up without seeing people who look like me on every corner. Like black love and relationships, like he said, I seen it all the time. So he didn't know what that was like. But then he broke down and started talking about the welfare initiative, how this was the time when men were sent out to war, and public welfare came in to replace the man. And that was kind of the fall of the Black Love Initiative, or what we've known it to be at that time. And it really broke up a lot of families, because when men came back from war, people who are on welfare know this, right? Grew up in the hood, we know this story. Like, if you have somebody else on your lease and they're working, they cut your money, or if you're not supporting and they have to leave, or if they couldn't work, which men couldn't, because a lot of them had a lot of depression and alcoholism, and a whole bunch of other issues, right? So they weren't really able to take care of the family. So the women had to make a choice to either deal with those struggles, or get cut off of welfare. It was what was it going to be? And that was the fall of the breakup for the Black family, and it changed the dynamics to what we see it as today. And I think we're going to reinvent that process through this period of time, because Mars is growing up now, with Mars and Taurus and Aquarius, and then Saturn being the ancient ruler of Aquarius, is all collectively working together, especially with Mercury in retrograde right now. He's making us go back and double back, like, look, you can't forget what the plan is, right? You said you wanted mature, you said you wanted to take your time, you said you wanted real relationships. So you have to take the steps, change your ways of approaching relationships. And with all these square energies to Mars, A lot of these things could be coming up. A lot of people are getting divorced because of this energy, especially because last year, having to spend so much time together, we really got to know who the hell we really were. And now we're saying to ourselves, oh my God, like, I'm not happy here. This is not the life that I was meant to live. I can do better. And when you know better, you do better. So researching these things, really digging deep and asking yourself these personal questions, whether you're staying in whether you're choosing to stay in the relationships or not. There's an evolution of the relationship happening overall. And for all the single people, you're going to change. Your evolution is changing the way you approach relationships, realizing that the things that you have been doing weren't getting you the results that you want. So what are you going to do differently? You got to research, you got to go learn, you got to look for the answers, you got to try something new, try something different. And I think there's just going to be a lot of that revamping over time, that people are just going to change the way they think. These are the seeds that we're growing right now. We're having the same thoughts about work. Saturn rules career and business. And we've already seen the changes that are coming down from there, or lack thereof. Either way, it's making you think differently about these parts of your life. And, how you deal with children. Good God. I have learned so much about myself as a mother over this last year that I've learned in my entire 20 years of being a mom to my oldest son, which, wow, what a disservice to the children and the teenagers coming up at this time. I can only imagine what they're going through. This can't be easy for them, realizing some of the things that they've done or haven't done, or maybe they didn't listen to mom or dad, or about certain things that they were told to do, and they're probably having some strong realizations about that right now. What do I have to do different? Can I go back and think about all the things that I was told to do that I didn't listen, and how do I move forward with that? I honestly think they might have it the hardest. The younger generation, like child ages and people being born right now, we're rebuilding the blocks for them to do better at this time, which I think it's never going to be the same. They're going to have way more opportunities if you're doing it right, and that's the way it should be. Just creating the seeds from back in the 1960s. We're picking back up from there and rebuilding that. Another enlightened moment in consciousness of truth and understanding. We're coming out of this age of Pisces, where we were rocked to sleep, quite literally and figuratively, but it was a karma. That was something that we had to go through to learn lessons, to see things differently. But yeah, so we have Uranus in Taurus, Mars in Taurus, and Saturn in Aquarius. So Taurus is very stagnant, routine energy that's being broken up by Saturn in Aquarius right now. And that's all of those old ideologies, the old structures, the old systems that we were using that are all being broken apart right now. And then we have Uranus square Saturn, which is removing all that we don't need. Not everything, right? There are some things that still work, right? That's going to be the challenge of Saturn. That's why Saturn's here. to make sure we get it right this time. Like, do I really need to get rid of that? Do I have a system and structure set up for that? What am I going to replace it with? Does that replacement really work? That's kind of Saturn's job as the authoritative parent, the person in authority, you being the authority of your life, really thinking those things through. Squares are clashes and disagreements. So again, with all the changes that we're coming into, the things that we got to get used to, clashes and disagreements is putting it lightly. This can be very frustrating trying to change. With this fast energy, this air energy it's the fastest moving energy of all the planets, especially once we get into the Libra or cardinal signs. You got two forward movement energies going. This is like electric. Aquarius is like literally rules electricity, so a pulse of energy to move you quickly through something. This is going to be quantum leaps into things, changing quickly once this energy starts picking up. But Capricorn is what wasn't working, what wasn't true. And then you have Mars square Sun and Moon, meaning again, the frustration. You want to move, but you can't because you got to figure things out. You got to go learn. You got to study. You got to research. And then you got to test it out. And you have to have a system and structure set up for that. You want to work on what you've been building. You're excited. You finally found out who you are. Maybe you're feeling more in your power of, what you want to accept moving forward. And now it's like, okay, I know who I am. I'm feeling good about my individuality. How can I grow in that? What does that look like in the world? You want to see the ideas to that. Saturn is there to make sure that we are putting something practical in place. And Mars square Mercury can be frustrating texts and words, especially with Mercury in retrograde. Good Lord, have mercy. Woo, it's been tough. It's been tough, especially that first, when it first went in there, that first few days, I was like, oh my God. I didn't want to be bothered. But that's, trying to avoid that can be very hard. This can cause issues with the nervous system, overstimulated, overthinking. You can literally feel like you're vibrating, but you really want to tap into that Taurus energy, that Mars and Taurus energy. So moving, exercising, resting, just resting, sitting down, doing absolutely nothing, really helps with this. Meditating really helps with this energy. Swimming, just being active. Yep. Or educating yourself with something that, pertains to what you want. Using this time for that now is going to be super helpful. We have Mercury conjunct Venus, which rules out of the box thinking, communication and love, caring, sharing love, words of appreciation, give and take. This is literally a social orgy. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound so perverted, but this is a social interaction on drugs. I was going to say something else. Venus is very chatty. I mean, air signs in general are chatty, but this is just a very social energy, Mars square Mercury rules, taking things slow, thinking things through, not being judgmental. Mercury's gathering information here about what you want, figuring out what you want love to look like, what you want your relationships to look like. How are you going to interact with groups of people, with your soul tribe, figuring all of these things out. And Venus is going to be supporting all of this information, new information to make new choices. And Jupiter is going to expand that. Again, just social thinking, being, molding, constructing on crack. That's just what it's going to be. But it's going to be a good feeling, though, too, and in the process and figuring this thing out. It's going to be fun, People are really learning to love themselves in this energy and be who they are Again, when you connecting with your soul tribe, it just comes so natural to be free, to feel love, um, just to be, you know. Um, and I think a lot of people are going to feel that on a pretty tremendous level. And then we have Venus conjunct Saturn. This could be issues around money and the stock market, like we haven't already seen that. Um, and because it's in Saturn's in Aquarius, Aquarius rules the people. So we had the Geek Squad taking over with Reddit and doing making all that money. They got tired of the big people, um, you know, announcing things in such a way that will help people get money, help the rich get richer, right? That's what they've been doing this for years. Okay. And then a whole bunch of people will go buy that stock and they get paid off. Um, so the geeks from Reddit was like, you know what? We're going to do that too. Pretty sure they're paying for that legally. I don't know the whole story, but that's still proof that this is a intelligent way to revolutionize the stock market, to revolutionize how to get money. And if you remember back before when I was talking about Mars, growing up and being more mature and how to be more creative on dealing with issues and not being so reactive and angry. That was just one example, and I'm pretty sure there will be a whole bunch more to come up during this time. Just saying. Food for thought. People are going to get real creative and innovative on how they think about money, raising money, how, getting involved with money, how to work with the stock market, how to make it work for you. It's going to be very interesting times, very interesting times. But money is definitely going to be a big role. Um, I don't want to make it seem like money is everything. It's just that Venus rules relationships and money and one, so they're one and the same. So if you're wondering why you're having relationship issues and it's involved around money, it's because Venus is closely related to that. It rules the seventh house. Seventh house rules marriage, partnerships, business partnerships, all relationships, contracts, money, fashion, beauty, pleasure. So when you think about it from that perspective and you see all these things coming up, especially when it's in conjunction or a square to something else, on a pretty massive level with Jupiter, these things are bound to come up. So you're changing something about how you deal with money. Why is money important? Maybe it could be spiritual, how to attract it more, instead of, I know, working smarter, not harder. That's it. That wraps it up right there. um, you know, uh, yeah. So Venus conjunct Jupiter rules success, happiness, attracting love and affection, and engaging others. This is enjoying music and culture again with Jupiter. Just having a good time and being social. Relationships are important, and they're going to be important over this duration of time, because that's kind of what Aquarius wants us to do, is to get together with a group of people who have like minds and figuring out how we can work together to build a community, to be your own individual. This isn't hierarchy stuff we're talking about. Like, how can a group of people come together to work together for freedom, to be individuals, to move freely about, you know, it's going to be very interesting. Um, you can fall in love at this time, rekindle a flame, Jupiter's going to pass this information 3 times. I talked about this in my Jupiter and Aquarius videos. I break it down for all 12 signs, at what times this is going to happen. But overall, this is going to keep growing and evolving this process, staying open to what's possible. And then you're going to have it again, March, September, and November, to 2022. And you'll see something that you thought was impossible as possible. And Saturn's going to make more corrections to make it stronger through April, July, and January of 2023. So you're going to be learning a lot about who you are and how to use your gifts with quantum leaps and quickly advancing on a level that, again, you probably didn't think was possible. It's just going to feel like it flies by, or, time flies when you're having fun, you're learning, growing, and expanding. But, overall, these old structures are no more. We're not going back to normal. That's just not an option. Those structures kept us oppressed and struggling, and they weren't really set up for us to be free. It was always about who can I grow up to be, to work for, when it should be who can I grow up to be for me, for my family. How to build strong financial systems around that, financial security, generational wealth. And they're going to try to stop this, right? The elites who are in power, these people, this system doesn't allow them to continue making money off the backs of our hard work. So over the next, 2022, few years, maybe 3 years, I think, they're going to up the ante. It doesn't necessarily have to be all bad. These things could happen, again, by way of manipulation, through media, television. Janae said, you don't see me on Facebook? I don't. Hold on, guys. Oh, I see, because I didn't have it on. Wow, so I've been having comments this whole time, and I didn't even see. Greetings, Queen. I'm sorry, you guys. Yes, the babies are here going through this transformation, too. Let me see. Can I put these up here? Hey. Oh, thank you guys for coming in. I didn't see you guys. I didn't. I was in the zone. If you're still there, how you doing? Hi, peace and blessings to you all. But yeah, so the old structures are crumbling, and we're learning new ones. And all the people who kind of been on this journey already, they're not too worried about, they've been on this process, right? So they'll most likely be the teachers or the leaders in building these new structures. Yeah. So Capricorn rules hierarchy. That's what I was talking about, the manipulation piece. And it has been for the last 36 years. So, and then you have Jupiter that just came out of Capricorn, which was the last 12 years. And once Saturn and Pluto move into into Aquarius, it's a wrap for them. That pretty much, that ending of that process of them having power and control over us is they're no longer going to have that option now. They're going to try to stop the globalization, that one central control, which will eliminate elected officials. Like we've been voting all this time, which, by the way, I genuinely don't think that was working anyways. It's just an illusion. It was never real. I just talked about the GameStop thing. And they'll try to normalize the technocrats, like building these smart cities. Um, um, if you haven't seen what China's doing, I would go look at China. I think China right now is the most advanced in what it is they're trying to do. So they're going to try to control us by way of electronics. Um, I heard something about how like you have, I don't know if they're like iPads or like if it's just your phone or like in a watch or some kind of device, but basically what it allows you to do is like you can see who's got a record, who like you like nobody has any privacy. I'll put it like that. Like your business is just out there. So if you pass by a person with a tracker and they can, all your information is going to come up. Whether you have a good credit, how much money you make. It's crazy. It's crazy. And some people will choose to live that life, right? Um, to be on those devices and a part of that process, because they want the safety. They want the safety of it. For them, that's considered more secure. And there really is no right or wrong way. But if you haven't watched WandaVision, they are literally showing you how they manipulate through television. It's almost like they built a show within a show. It's freaking crazy. The stuff that they come up with, it blows my mind every freaking time. Um, but it's going to give you an idea of what it is I'm talking about, the digitization of these small towns where they're just trying to take them over. They're calling them smart cities. You got to go research. You go Google it. It's right there for you to see. They are not hiding. It's like in plain sight. It blows my mind. But yeah. So, they're going to try to do that. But the more we learn and realize that we have the control over our life, we do that. So being mindful of what you take in through television or the television, you know, building your own perceptions and your own reality by not giving them the attention or time of day. Um, just being mindful of what you take in on a regular basis. Divine says, yeah, the babies are here too. They're going to go through the street. Yep, they sure are. They sure are. Um, yeah. So that great conjunction was a portal of energy. A lot of people will have more self-control, maturity, the ability to create something more tangible and regulate time and be more serious about their accomplishments with Saturn, right? Um, Saturn is about goals, hard work, structures and systems, and being mature about that stuff, being responsible, taking the lead of your life. Um, and if you have strong skills in those, or you're building strong skills in those, the less likely you are to have to depend on whatever systems that they're building. Because, have you ever watched those movies? I wish I could remember one specific movie I'm talking about, but even way back in the days when they did like all those movies that were like super tech, and you had the flying saucers that people would be flying in. It was always this, people like poor people who lived on the streets that they showed, but not really showed. You know what I'm saying? Those people were us. Just so that I'm clear when I say this, we're not going to be able to afford the life that they're building over there. We don't even have it now. That's what we're working on doing now. So really taking this time out to take this process seriously, because what do they got right now? The middle class, lower, upper middle class. What the heck is the difference in between those things? How do you know how to measure that? I just don't think that there's any difference. They just don't tell us. And even if you are middle class, you're still struggling. You probably make enough just to get by, whereas low class may be considered more poor now. I know those numbers, those statistics have changed drastically. But again, this is just food for thought. These smart cities that they're building are not going to be for people like you and I. They're not, but they're not going to tell you that part. They're just going to keep showing it and advertising it like it's this great experience and opportunity for you to know what's going on. And that's it. That's how they rock you to sleep. They sold you a lie. That's why I played the song at the beginning of this video, because you got to stay strong, on this journey, because it's hard, but it's going to be worth it. Yeah. So, yeah, especially with this all being in air signs. Air signs in general is about freedom. The air signs are the only signs that can't be touched. You can move, it moves right through it. You can move right through it. So this is definitely a time about freedom. You can move about freely without restrictions. It's about community and building connections. Air signs rules the human sign, the human experience. Like Gemini literally rules blue collar jobs. So like your everyday work life because of Mercury, and Mercury also rules Virgo. Virgo is your everyday work life, your health, your your co-workers and things of that nature. So all those things are changing to be more free. What does that look like? Recreate that. Rethink about how you want that to look in your life, your work life. What work are you going to be doing? How is that going to change? Of course, most of it is all digitization for the most part, because it's fast moving. But yeah, how just thinking about how you want that to look is going to be a major important during this time, because it's surely going to change in some way, shape, or form. So again, a lot of human and civil rights will come up at this time. Groups will come together with very diverse backgrounds to make a whole and collaborate. And Aquarius also rules vibration. I think we're going to see a lot of vibrational technology, or just understanding spirituality in the body in some kind of way, in a different kind of way, understanding how those things work, thinking independently. This is about the the quirky black sheep person. They finally get their time to shine and be like, see, I told you I wasn't weird. But you will have a choice, whether you want to be a part of the globalization or the non-globalization. Yeah. This alignment's going to awaken the spirit of freedom. We're going to develop new financial systems, new government systems, new educational systems, free thinking, imagination, and independence. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a lot to think about. I'm super excited about this time. Make sure you have, your goals and intentions set, ready. And it's happening on the 11th. I mean, come on. You can't tell me that this isn't going to be great. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I won't keep y'all any longer, but I hope this information was helpful. I'm going to play my outro song now. And peace and blessings.
Meet me at the crossroads. Niggas, niggas, black man, you're bold. A black boy's soul, you're the perfect mold. Ashes to dust particles, our melanin broke the soul. But I love you like I love God. Brother, you're my black gold. Shine, baby, shine.
It's the madness, the hard times, the hood life, bad ways, evil thoughts I have. Toward a good life, looks like the nightfall.
Teens got, police got, bang bang got, black boy don't. It's educated, incarcerated, emasculated, till black boys don't. Tryna get over the struggle, tryna smile, frown, tryna rock Peter just to play ball.